Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you about something a bit different than I typically do on this channel. But I wanted to talk to you about 6 ways that you can make your life better and slay 2018. I think they're going to be 6 things that you haven't necessarily thought about and aren't the typical like lose weight and stuff like that, but they are definitely going to contribute to your life being better in 2018. Now, since we're speaking about resolutions and tips for making your life better, I did want to share with you guys one of my resos for this year, which is making my online community grow. That is something that I totally would love your help with, need your help with, that if you haven't joined a little family that I've got going on here, I would love if you did. So I would love if you hit that subscribe button, and I would love if you shared these videos if you feel that they've benefited your life in any way. So that's that. Anyways, let's get into tip number 1. Okay, so tip number 1 is drink more water, which I feel like is totally self-explanatory. But as self-explanatory as it is something that I know I definitely don't do. My roommate's always giving me heck for not getting enough water in me, and it's honestly, there was a day maybe about a month ago where like I went home and I was like, oh my gosh, I truly and honestly had not drank I had not drank any water in, it was coming up to 2 days. And then I drank some water and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel fine. And it was just the fact that I didn't drink any water. So for me, I really struggle just drinking water plain. I know that sounds weird, but I do. That I love adding like either that Nesfruta stuff to it or Mio. I know it's not the best thing for you to add to your water, but for me, I would rather get the water in me than not get the water in me. I know it's still not good. And I also know that there's more natural ways of doing this as well by just infusing your water with fruit. One of my favorite fruit combos for infused water is basil and blueberries. I find it makes it so potent, but it's not really the time of year to find basil or blueberries. So yeah, I kind of gravitate more to the things to just put into my water at this time of year, but then in summer I like putting fresh fruit in my water, and it needs to be so cold, otherwise I won't drink it. Okay, tip number 2, get more sleep. I am somebody who is just naturally like a night owl. I just always have been. But this past year I've done so much better at making myself go to bed at a reasonable time. Last night wasn't the case. Last night I fell into bad habits and it was like 3 o'clock before I fell asleep. But getting sleep is so important for your body. Honestly, when I lose the most weight is when I'm sleeping well. When I am the healthiest is when I'm sleeping well. That I know sometimes if you have anxiety, I have anxiety really bad, and you're up at night and you're thinking about everything, it's really hard to fall asleep. But there are things that you can do to eliminate or help you sleep better, like not being on your phone. Like if I get up halfway through the night to go to the bathroom or something, I actually don't look at my phone because it's almost like the light from the phone wakes me up. So try not to look at your phone right before bed. Try not to have the TV on right before bed. Maybe just put on a podcast or an audiobook, and probably a podcast because a podcast will end, whereas an audiobook you'll have to turn it off. But honestly, getting more sleep is so essential, and Chalene Johnson, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her at all, but she does a podcast, and she did one last year this time about saying how like she had a brain scan done and it looked like she had done hardcore drugs and she never has, but that was from, it was almost like there was like I can't really remember exactly how she described like the damage that they could see in her brain, but it was from not getting sleep because she would just push herself so much. That pushing yourself is great, especially if it's like short-term goals, but like living constantly in that lifestyle of not getting enough sleep isn't something that can be done long-term, and I really challenge you to get more sleep in 2018. Alright, so this next tip, it's not necessarily going to help you in the ways that you think that it's going to help you. It's going to help others, but essentially it's going to help you. But one thing I really want to challenge you guys to do in 2018 is look at people when you're talking to them. I cannot tell you how many times on a day-to-day basis people come up to me, they drop something on the counter, and they're just and you're talking to them and they're like answering you, but they're actually not looking up at you and acknowledging you. That this last year of my life where I've been working, that is something that has like beared down on me so much, because it doesn't even make you feel like you're human or worthy of that like interaction. And never mind that, but it's like honestly really rude that just put your phone down for a second. Try and acknowledge those invisible people in your life. The person bagging your groceries, that cashier, the bank teller, those people that you are so consumed with your phone with that you're actually not even giving them like any type of eye contact. And if you're able to make that eye contact, I challenge you to like smile. Smile at somebody, just like if you're in the mall and you see the custodian taking out the garbage, like smile at that person, because you'd be surprised. It's probably one of their like only eye-to-eye interactions for that day. Okay, tip number 4, tidy your at-home space at least 15 minutes a day. I'm somebody that if I have a list of things to do and the house is a mess, I need to clean first. And it's something that I do by default, that I try to like just have the house clean all of the time, but or like not to the point where I feel like I can't start my work until I go clean. But I found if you do like just 15 minutes a day of tidying, you never have this big mountain of stuff to do that ends up taking like a whole half of your day off. So try 15 minutes a day instead of leaving all the cleaning to be done at once. I honestly think too, with that, you have better mental health. I know for me, like I just think better and like can focus on things a lot more when my workspace or my bedroom space is clean. Tip number 5, I am not a minimalist at all. I like having stuff in my home. Not exuberant, but I like having stuff in my home. But if anything that this moving process has taught me, if you guys didn't know, I am moving to England, and this is actually something I wanted to do 3 years ago. And in that process, I started getting rid of a lot of my stuff. And then I decided I wasn't gonna go. And then I got into this whole like YouTube and blogging thing and getting clothes so much more often. It allowed me to get rid of stuff a lot more because my closet was getting full. And then in my house, when I was deciding to move, I started getting rid of stuff that I knew I wasn't going to keep. So for the past few years, I've had a really healthy routine of cleaning my house out. And now, especially because I'm leaving very soon, I probably take stuff to Goodwill about once a month, if not more, which my friends and like clients and stuff have been like, let me know, so they can have my stuff instead. But I do think there's something really healthy about purging and looking at these things and being like, am I gonna wear this again? Do I need this? Is this just adding clutter to my life? Does this have a function in my home? And for me, if I haven't worn something in over a year, that's usually indication that it needs to be gone. If it's something classic, like I have a couple, I just got rid of this thing and I literally, my grandma helped me pick out this dress for a funeral when I was 17 and I'm 31, and I just got rid of this black dress. It was a classic black dress. You couldn't go wrong with it. So something like that, and obviously like it's just a plain black dress that I honestly called it my funeral dress because I wore it to every funeral, but I didn't always wear that every year, but I knew it was something so classic that I could go back to all the time. Something like that you don't necessarily need to get rid of, but if it's something that, you know, has a stain on it or has a rip on it, but it's your favorite sweater, just get rid of it, because give yourself the space to find a new favorite sweater. Does that make sense? Okay, my final tip, tip number 6, pick up a book or listen to a book or listen to a podcast. Honestly, when you have, Matthew Hussey said this in one of like his many videos. If you don't know who Matthew Hussey is, I'll leave him down below. He's friggin' phenomenal. But like he had said in one of his videos, you know, listen to a podcast or like listen to a book and have something to offer when you're going on a date. And I hear what he's saying, but I'm going to take it one step further. You don't need to be going on a date to be able to like contribute to a conversation like that. You should be doing that regardless if it's a date or not. When you are listening to a book or reading a book or listening to a podcast, you learn so much, and you can do these things when you're doing your mundane tasks. So remember when I was saying to clean for 15 minutes a day? Straight up, this phone is like in my pocket and I've got my headphones in whenever I'm like working on a client, because I'm like usually not talking to them because they usually fall asleep. But I have so much more to offer and conversate about just because I'm like learning about so much. So that would be my final tip to you guys, especially if I know it's not a lot of people have the time to sit down and read a book, or you've got so much going on in your head. I know that this is my situation. Got so much going on in your head that you kind of can't focus on the words that you're reading. For me, I love listening to audiobooks and just kind of like turning off and getting totally captivated by a book or getting totally captivated by a podcast. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I know this is a different type of video for here on my channel, but I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to be sprinkling more videos like this in over the next few weeks. So yeah, let me know if you like it. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed, I would love if you join this family. And if you like this video, let me know that you liked it. Hit that like button. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.